What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Still on vacay, but bringing you the show. I apologize in advance for my voice. I've been screaming a lot, but we're gonna push through because the season's about to get started. It's the fourth quarter. Can't not do it. So I'm gonna do my best. I think you can still hear what I'm saying, but it doesn't sound as inflection-y as normal, and maybe my impressions will go down slightly. All right. So I was able to get a little bit of Dolphins news where I am. And so today's show will feel like a normal show. We're actually doing real topics. We're not doing a retroactive, respective of our past. Real show today, maybe a little delayed, but starting tomorrow, we're back at it. All right. So we'll start with the very first story. Zach Sieler got his extension. I know you guys are waiting for me to talk about this. This has been an ongoing story all training camp. Whether he would get it or not, if he was going to hold in, hold out, what have you. We talked about it. We say the $20 million plus million a year guy, based on his draft status and where he was picked and all that, he kind of got slotted a lot lower than that, but I never thought he wasn't one of the 10 to 12 best at his position, and the top 12 guys all get $20 million a year. So he got a 3-year extension for $67 million, but only 44 is guaranteed. So what he essentially got was a 2-year, $44 million extension, which is $22 million a year, which is exactly what we thought. He said 20 million plus, you got 22. So if you couple that with his already years left on his deal, we should theoretically have him for the rest of his career, barring anything crazy. We always had that last year, the option to pick up, but this is like the next 5 years of his career. He should be here. He'll be in his mid-30s. It seems like we're going to have him for the duration of his career, which would be awesome, which I thought that was always kind of the plan. It didn't make any sense that we wouldn't sign him. He did the right thing. All his negotiation went behind the scenes. He showed up. He didn't want to hold out, didn't want to be a disruption, but it was obvious that he was going to get paid or that he was at least deserving of being paid. And just given how contracts were given out, the Broncos gave out a contract to Wolf, their D lineman, that was even bigger than his, which could have thrown our negotiation off because I think Zach is better than him. But so what? He obviously took some version of a discount. And because he had years left on his deal, maybe that threw some of his leverage off because he's not going to hold out for 2 years if he decided to hold out. And he already got an extension a couple years ago. So he was kind of in a tough place where he deserved more money, but he couldn't do the thing that Mike is doing where Mike is like, hey, I got 1 year left on this deal and I can kind of be out. Zach's like, I got to come back next year too. So what am I going to do? So I think the team took care of him, which is awesome. You got to take care of the guys who are playing well. Take care of the locker room guys. Take care of the people who are actually making your team great. He was the best player on the team last year. I think that goes without saying. Shout out to the team. Shout out to Zach for doing everything right. No distraction. You got your money. Very proud of you. Look forward to seeing the rest of your career. And hopefully you keep getting those double-digit sacks, man. That would just be just one of the best draft picks in our history if you can keep doing that. Now we're going to get into a rash of injury talks because what offseason could be an offseason for the Dolphins if we don't talk about injuries or just guys down the field. So Darren Waller has not really been with the team. He's been conditioning, getting back in football shape. And according to his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who's also Tyreek Hill's agent, who's also Jonnu Smith's agent, who's everybody's agent apparently, he said he expects Darren Waller to be back week 1. I'm sure he does. I'm sure Darren has told you, I'll be ready week 1. Also, what is an agent supposed to say? Yeah, man, my guy's not going to be there day 1. I'm sure Drew Rosenhaus said, hey, he's in the best shape of his life. He's ready for football. It's an agent's job to sell their player. That's his job. And Drew is one of the best at doing it. He's been doing it forever. He's had a ton of clients in the league. And I'm sure Drew hyped him up and said he's going to be ready. And so we will see. We know he didn't play football for like a year. So I don't expect him to be like in football shape, of course. But, you know, he's got to get on the field at some point. And we're expecting him to just show up week 1 and kind of be ready to play. That remains to be seen. I don't think there's any known like major injury situation. He might have little nicks and, things going on, but I haven't heard about anything like, oh, he has this real bad injury that he's recovering from. This seems like I haven't played football. I probably need to add some muscle and add some cardio. He's been doing that since we drafted him, which is great. I think of all the people I'm going to list on the list, he's the most likely to be there day 1. I still contend that he will be on some version of a snap count. I don't believe he's going to be in there for 80% of our snaps. I think he's going to be, if we have 80 offensive plays, I think somewhere between 35 and 45 he'll be on the field. I think there's going to be plenty of stretches where he's not even on the field at all. And I think that's kind of by design because he's not the best blocking tight end. We can bring in Farrell Brown for that. So I think we're going to bring Farrell in for the black. The problem with this kind of idea, though, is if you bring Farrell in, we know you're blocking. The idea of your tight end being a dual threat like a Kittle or a Kelsey, the highest level guys, is that you don't know if we're going to run or pass. If we take Darren Waller out and then bring in another tight end, 90% chance probably running the ball, right? Or at least not throwing to the tight end. So now that's one less like option you think about. If Darren Waller's on the field, he's a very legit option. But I don't think Drew is lying. I think he's probably tracking towards being ready for week one. We had a similar situation with Odell last year, if you remember. Odell wasn't with the team like actively practicing. He would be at the practice field or facility, and he was doing like wind sprints on the sideline because he was coming back from an injury. And we know Odell's super injury prone. I'm an Odell fan, but he's been injured. Just is what it is. And so he was conditioning himself, but same thing. Oh, Odell will be right. He's a pro. He knows the vibes. He'll get right. The problem when you don't play with the team during practice sessions and all that is that our offense is very rhythm based. It's Tua, 1, 2, 3. Look, pass. 1, 2, get the ball out. Shotgun, turn, throw the ball. And if your timing is off a little bit, because Odell and Tua never got on the same page. They just never got any rhythm. And it wasn't because Odell's a bad route runner or because Tua's inaccurate with his passes. It's because I don't know how you're going to run your route because we haven't got enough practice of me seeing you run your route. Quarterbacks can see when a receiver's about to take that out step or that in step or his shoulders square. And if I don't know what your little mannerisms are, how can I really know you're where you're supposed to be? Because what happens is I throw the ball a second early, hit you in the back of the helmet. I throw it a second late, it's behind you. Throw it high, pick. Throw it low, grenade ball. Like a lot of things can happen. And Darren Waller not being there, he might be getting in better shape like him physically for football, but he's definitely not getting in shape with Tua, which we need because he's your quarterback. So he might be ready for week one, but he's not going to be as good with the team week one as he would be if he was practicing because he doesn't have any rhythm with the team. He doesn't know, like the concepts probably properly. Like he may understand I need to run 8 yards and break in, but to do it on the field and know I need to turn my head before I even got on my break, turn my head a little bit late to sell all the little nuances of playing wide receiver, he won't, or tight end, he doesn't know with the team yet. And I think that's probably the biggest detriment. I'm not too worried about how many snaps he gets on the field. I don't think any tight end we got outside of John New was going to come on the field and play 60 snaps. I think we're going to probably be on a timeshare kind of situation. But him being out definitely helps. It doesn't help our offense at all at the moment, but hopefully we'll see him week one. Austin Jackson, right tackle, also out and expect to be back week one. When he first got hurt, coach said he will miss significant time, but should be back week one. Okay. This one's a little bit more scary to me because we have Patrick Paul playing left tackle, brand new. And Austin at right tackle, we were like, we good on that side. And Tua's left-handed, so that's the blind side. That's the one we got to really lock in. Him not being there is terrifying. And when he got hurt, initially the idea is that, hey, we're not even going to try to get you back on the field for preseason. We're going to just wait to the regular season. That tells me this might be a little bit more scary. I am less sure Austin Jackson will be ready for week one than anybody else on this list. Now, I hope he is, of course. I know we brought in Larry Borom to fill that position if he's not there. Larry's a multi-year vet, played with Chicago. He will probably do an okay job in the short term. But Austin Jackson is like our guy. We gave you an extension. We drafted you. You're Tua's blindside guy. We've invested in you to be that guy. And I'm less positive he will be there week one. He's saying the right things. Coach is saying the right things. I don't know. Everyone knows offensive line is like the biggest concern going into the year. And now we have guards are out, left tackle, new, right tackle we thought was a staple, possibly like, revolving door situation. This scares me a little bit. Sorry, might cut out for a second. But the bottom line is Austin Jackson is invaluable to this team. Again, he's Tua's blindside defender. that's part of the line we don't really worry about. Like we feel like Austin when he plays is very good. Tua should feel secure on that side. That will ideally let him hold the ball a little bit longer when he needs to because not every route comes out like immediately. There are times when he has to hold the ball a little bit or roll a little bit, and when your tackle's doing their job, you don't feel like someone's gonna come on the blind side and knock you out. Someone come up the middle, you can see the rush coming towards you. Doesn't mean you can always avoid it, but you can kind of dump the ball at their feet. You can backpedal a little bit when they're coming off the edge, and especially if you don't see them. Woof. Some of the most dangerous quarterback hits I've seen is a quarterback in the pocket just patting a rock, looking around for receivers. None the wiser somebody's coming on their blind side, and when they do, devastating. So we don't want to put any of that in the universe. We hope Austin comes back, plays the whole year, does what we expect him to be. Like he should be arguably our second best offensive lineman going into this year behind Brewer. So we expect you to be back, hopefully, and fingers crossed. And finally, Tyreek Hill missed practice today with an undisclosed injury. I don't know what this is. I mean, it literally is undisclosed. I will say this: Tyreek was unknowingly hurt for us last year going into the year. Like he had offseason knee surgery. He did a good job of keeping it under wraps. And came into the year, first game we killed it, right? We loved it. But then there was a noticeable he doesn't look quite like Tyreek right now. That's because he came into the year just not where he needed to be. Then of course the wrist was just an all season situation. So if you got the knee and you got the wrist from last year, you're going to this year, if the injury is related to most likely his knee, if his wrist was hurt, they would have told us, and that's more normal. So I don't believe it's his wrist. I believe it's something like lower body related. If it's the knee that was hurt last year, that's concerning. If it's another injury, also concerning. Tyreek is getting older now. He's not 24 years old, fast cheetah guy. He's in his 30s now. And as you get older, you get more hurt, you recover more slowly. And if it's a similar injury that he's had before, getting re-injured in the preseason, that's one of those things that can kind of nag you. And Tyreek's game, again, is all twitch, fast, explosion. If you can't be twitchy, fast, and explosive because of little naggy things, it just undercuts what he is as a player. Because he's not Tyreek if he's not explosive. He's not like a 6'5" receiver that can get slower and then become like a jump ball possession receiver. He is I'm on my horse, chop those routes down, get out of my break, catch the ball, turn into a running back. You try to catch me in the field. That's what Tyreek is. And if he's a step or two slower, where teams may not need to put that safety 20 yards back, they can kind of like condense the field. Or God forbid, they don't put a safety help at all and just start saying, oh, a corner can take you and we can roll that safety anywhere else on the field or worse, blitz him because Tyreek's not stressing the defense out enough. That literally changes the whole flow of our team. The team basically is built now on teams are terrified about Waddle and Tyreek getting deep, so they have to play some version of a shell or have to get some kind of rerouting in early in the route, and they kind of play with a little bit of cushion because they don't want that 50, 60, 70-yard bomb. The minute that isn't a threat anymore, you become like you remember Atlanta Falcons offense last year when Kirk Cousins was playing before Penix came in. Like the last 4 or 5 games that Kirk was quarterback, there was just no respect in the secondary. They were like, this dude can't throw the ball 40 yards, and they just sat on every route. They're pushing Drake London around. Don't get me started with Kyle Pitts. Bijan is Bijan. He was still getting his, but Bijan doesn't run deep routes. He's throwing like screens and stuff. So Bijan's stats were great, but Atlanta's offense looked anemic. Just multiple games without points, no touchdowns, couldn't get first downs. It's like, what is this? It's like, well, you can't stretch this deep, so we're just going to make everybody condense. The DBs are playing 2 yards off the ball. The safeties are at 10, maybe 12, and just looking at you like, make a throw. And they couldn't make it. Then Penix came in, all of a sudden he could slang it. It's like, oh, wait a minute now. Then the defense had backed off a little bit. In the last few games, they scored more points because they were more explosive. If Tyreek's not Tyreek, our whole offense changes. I'm second least concerned here. I'm most concerned about Austin Jackson. Not concerned Waller will play week 1. I'm concerned about his number of snaps. Tyreek, I believe, will be on the field for week 1. I don't know what the injury is. The fact that it's undisclosed to me is a little bit in, because if it was something like, oh, he just rolled his ankle, just tell us. We know he's been hurt before, so it's not like, ooh, he's wounded. Just why would it be undisclosed? I assume he's not going to play in the first preseason game. Maybe he'll be in a second, but Honestly, I'm fine if Tyreek doesn't play at all. I would like to know more details about him, and maybe by the time this comes out, more will have come out, and he'll be back at practice. It could have been something like really minor. It could be a stomach bug, or he didn't want to tell the team. Who knows? I'm just saying, I don't want to hear about Tyreek getting hurt, especially before the year, given how last year was with injuries between him and Waddle, where they played the games, but they clearly weren't themselves. If you're going to be on the field, I want full Reek, full Waddle. Let's go. I don't want some 75% version where it's like, yeah, I'm fast ish. I want like that's what I'm looking for. So hopefully all three of these guys are on the field week one and playing up to their standard week one because that would be fantastic. Um, but we're gonna keep you posted all the way until we get there because that's what we do here at Dolphins Daily. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning into the show. Thank y'all for rocking with me during this week. This has been fun for me to get away from my daily grind, but I still want to make sure we gave y'all some shows. We'll be back on our normal schedule tomorrow, so we appreciate that. But as always, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. Appreciate the love and support, and we'll see you next time.